If you got it, you got it. It'll happen no matter what sport it is, no matter what you do. If it's something in work industry or computers and you're fucking tech smart and you really enjoy doing it, you'll fucking exceed and become top of your game. Or if you're good at basketball and you love playing it as a kid and you're really good at it, you'll probably end up going pro if you've got the genetics. So it's like anything. If you give it 100% and you enjoy it, that's your passion, and you've got the build for it or the mind for it, whatever, you're going to exceed at it. So I always say, like, I wanted to do the He-Man. I wanted to look like He-Man, but pretty much the sport chose me because I just wanted to look like He-Man. And then when I got the muscle, now people said, this is what you should do with it. So then, okay, I started competing and then winning shows. Oh, you should be pro. I'm like, no, I don't want to be pro. And then went to America, turned pro. So things just pretty much, it wasn't me going, I wanted to do this. I'm going to be a pro. This is my dream. It just happened.
Welcome back to Renegade Muscle. I am Jeff Roberts, and I'm here with Lee Priest, and it is episode 7.
7 already?
Yep. Today is going to be mostly listener questions. We got a ton of good listener questions this time, such as best way to pack gear on a flight.
Well, thank you, Jeff, for the show today. It's been wonderful.
The guys, according to the guy's handle, he's an IFBB pro. So
who the fuck asked that? What's his name?
I don't know off the top. IFBB Angel or something like that. IFB_Angel. It's on your Instagram.
I'll have to look. Where the fuck are you going that you need?
He actually has a pretty decent physique, but
where the fuck are you going that you need to take gear? Like, generally, if you're going away for the weekend to compete, you're going for the weekend. What, you're going to lose fucking muscle size in the 3 or 4 days that you need fucking to take gear with you? Yeah. I'm sure if you're taking fucking orals, that'd be easy to pack. Put it in a fucking multivitamin thing. Plus, whoever checks your fucking suitcase for orals and shit, if you're packing syringes, they might see them in a fucking x-ray. But what the fuck? You're really that desperate? In all my years, I had never once packed gear to take anywhere for a fucking contest. Even going to the Arnold, was in Columbus, you'd go 5 or 4 days before, never took any gear. Fucking nowhere. It's like, what's up with these fucking morons? I went to England, never took any to England. I'm guessing if you're going overseas, it wouldn't be too hard if you're a top pro to find a contact over there if you needed shit. But seriously, is it in your brain that, man, I can't go 1 or 2 days without gear, I got to fucking take it with me? Here's an idea. Put the syringes and everything up your fucking anus. Well, here's an idea. If you're going to have a shot and the show's 3 days away, fucking load up before you go. Fucking take it all. Just fucking put it in. You'll be fucking
I think the
right.
problem would be if you looked like shit, if you didn't look like a bodybuilder at all, it'd probably be really easy because I bring vials and syringes every time I travel and no one's ever said anything.
Yeah.
And so, like, I guess if you're not jacked, I mean, I'm 5'9", 210, but no, like, it's never ever been an issue. And I always wondered, like, those could very easily be, those could be trend and you know, but like I said, as if you have like a fucking, put it in a shampoo bottle in a fucking, as if you have some sort of Lee's secret to, what's the longest you ever went? Like, what's the longest you ever went on like a trip? International trip.
Well, I did the European tour in '97. We did 7 shows in 9 days. I didn't take anything. If you're in shape, you're in shape. It all comes down to dieting and stuff and just watching what you eat and fluid. Towards midway through, I might have had a diuretic or 2, but they're easy to get. But as far as gear, when I was competing, that whole tour, I didn't take any fucking gear because you're competing every second day. You don't really need fucking gear. You're not eating crazy, you're not doing anything stupid with your water. So if you're in shape, it's easier to stay in shape. It's if you start fucking around with too much gear and loading and shit and doing this and that, then you're going to have problems. But these people try and overthink it. We're trying to reinvent the wheel when if you keep it basic, you won't go fucking wrong. But hey.
Yeah. I think either it's really easy to do or people don't do it because how many IFBB pros have been like, you know, apprehended for having juice on them in the airports. Like Hidetada got it one time. I remember that back in the day. He had a bunch of shit on him. But I don't know anyone else.
Yeah, who got? No, there was
There's a couple more, but there's not many.
Who got caught in Sweden that time or somewhere like that? Was it what's his name? Wasn't Quincy Taylor, was it? Or somebody got caught.
Talking about Tony Freeman.
Tony Freeman, yeah.
He didn't get caught with shit though.
No, didn't they just arrest him or suspect him?
They arrested him because he was huge, and then apparently he got out of it with some sort of doctor's note. Yeah. I guess.
No, but I always get stopped at customs generally, but now when I come back, I just put down, it says nothing to declare. I guess if you put nothing to declare, they think, haha, he's trying to hide something. I always put, yes, I got something to declare. When they ask me what it is, I just say, just some chocolates for my mum and stuff like that. And then they go, okay, you're right. So I guess if they figured you got something to declare, you're putting that, okay, you can search me. So I guess if you're saying, go ahead, search me, they're like, oh, he's got nothing. He's all right. So now I just put, I got something to declare, chocolates or fucking gifts. And they go, you're right, off you go. I'm like, cool, thank you.
So that must be how we read between the lines here, people. That's how he does it.
Every time I put nothing to declare, come here.
Yeah.
They've gone through my bag once before. I actually had a fan do it. He's like, how you going? I said, good. He was working. He was going through my stuff. He's like, sorry. I said, look, I understand you got to do your job. He was just going, I put my stuff out. He put it back neat and tidy. And then his supervisor come over, this little short fucking troll looked like the Penguin from the Michael Keaton Batman, comes fucking waddling over. He's like, did you find anything? The guy's like, no, he's good to go. He goes, search it again. And he's like, what? He goes, yeah, search it again. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I said, go right ahead. I said, you got to appease this fucking idiot, so just go right ahead. And as I'm walking out, I walk past him. I'm like, oh, I bet you're upset you didn't find anything, huh? Little fat cunt just stand there like, yeah. I said to him too, I said, why do you always check bodybuilders? I said, if I look like a bodybuilder and I'm coming through, why would I bring the drugs on me? I was like, I wouldn't be carrying them. Then I always said, I would have given them to my skinny friend that went through 20 minutes ago. They're like, huh? I said, I wouldn't be carrying them. I'm like, hey, look at me, come,
That's the real conundrum.
Then this one guy said, oh, you'd be surprised, Lee. I didn't say Lee, goes, you'd be surprised. We've caught bodybuilders coming through. We can just tell they're on steroids because they're big and they're red and they're sweating. We can just tell they're taking them. So when we pull them over, we find drugs on them. I'm like, oh, that's the giveaway, is it? They're big and red and sweating. I said, wouldn't be the airport's fucking hot, would it? They just come off a long flight.
Yeah. Was there ever did you ever know or hear about guys who did do that, like on those tours?
Yeah, I know that generally I always knew that when they were going overseas, they planned ahead. So if they were going on a world tour, gym owners or promoters or whoever they knew in that country would ask, do you need anything? I've had that before when I've gone overseas, even guest posing. Lee, do you need anything while you're here? I can get it for you. I'm like, no, I'm only guest posing. I don't need anything. It's like, okay, cool. But if you need anything, just let me know. So generally promoters and people there will have someone they can get you what you need once you get to that country. So you don't need to take it with you.
Right.
And like I said, if you're leaving on Wednesday to go somewhere and you got a show on the weekend, just fucking take all your needles before you go. It's still going to be in your fucking system.
Right.
Or like I said, put your little Dianabol in your fucking multivitamin bottle.
Yeah. It would mostly work, I think, if you weren't. But if you're huge, then usually you get stopped. You still get stopped. You get stopped all the time.
But generally, it's probably due to the tattoos more now and stuff. So he's gone from bodybuilder to drug dealer. Look at him covered in tats.
He's got all those tattoos.
Yeah.
Speaking of your tattoos, one guy commented, imagine asking some tattooed, roided up knucklehead anything of value.
Imagine the person that asked that question following some roided up knucklehead on Instagram to actually leave that question. What's that say about him? The dumb dickhead.
As if because you have tattoos, you're having tattoos is one reason that you should not be. No one should take advice from you.
And roided up. Yeah, I've used roids before, but I never abused it. But can you click on his profile?
It's like a Jim Fails profile.
Oh, well, say no more.
It's not really like an individual.
But say no more, but he follows me, so I always wonder why they do that. They call me a dickhead, they say this, why take advice from him, but yet you follow me. So this cunt, I tell you, I'm not into suicide and shit like that, but people like him, here's a tip like this. or just sit in the car and put the hose in and go nighty-night.
Yeah.
So I just don't get it. It's like, this. How many times have I heard? Actually, I've heard that so many times. And generally, when you look at the person, it's just like, why bother? Why?
Yeah. It's not really even a person. It's just like
I tell you,
an account.
I can tell, because you know what? I've seen a lot of taddle up fucking policemen, fucking servicemen in the military. Imagine fucking having someone like that save you. I've seen doctors once. I had surgery once, and the doctor that did me was a younger surgeon, and he had fucking tattoos and shit. Imagine getting operated on by some fucking tattooed up fucking medic type fucking idiot. Oh my God. You know, these people.
This is like some young prick that like has friends with tattoos and he thinks they're cool. Like he just like says, you know.
No, this is from some prick that has no friends and just sits there in his fucking basement with his hand on his little fucking foreskin cock, stroking away because he's got no friends.
Big cheese everywhere.
Exactly, sticking his finger down there, rubbing it around, seeing if the genie pops out. It's just sad. Like I said, he follows me, so he can say all he wants. Don't follow me then. So obviously he's following me for a reason, the dumb fuck.
That's funny.
He has a page called Jim Fails. He is the failure. His parents knew he was a failure. They probably hate him. It's like, imagine going through life sitting in the basement knowing your parents hate you.
His parents definitely hate him. I mean, look at that comment.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was a mistake. He was a mistake, and they fucking remind him every day to block.
Yep.
Oh dear.
So Jonah Lopez asked,
oh, that's a normal name.
How would Lee Haney place today at his best?
I hate when people try and do these timelines comparing Lee Haney to today. He'd look great. Or if you look at him, his shape and that, he'd probably do well. But if the judges judge fairly, he'll do well. So,
I have a better question. What about Lee at his best versus Lee at his best?
Lee, me.
You at your best, and then Lee Haney at his best.
Lee Haney would probably win.
You think?
Well, two different physiques, so it'd be hard.
Yeah.
Until you saw us on stage, it's hard to really tell.
Yeah, it would be bizarre.
Mm-hmm. No, I always hate when people say that. Who was the best bodybuilder, Arnold or Ronnie? Well, it's two different eras. It's like if Ronnie was back in Arnold's era, Ronnie would probably look shit. But if Arnold was in, just Arnold's mindset, the way he trained and just everything they do now, you don't think Arnold would rise to the occasion and come in looking how he had to look to win if he was in the fucking 90s era? It's just...
Of course. You have to compare them in like, for their own era.
Yeah.
You can't compare, like, Franco Columbo to you.
Yeah, and who's the best bodybuilder ever? It's like, ever? You can't... There's been so many great bodybuilders, you can't say who was the best ever. Even if you went by titles, just because someone won a lot of shows doesn't make him the best bodybuilder ever. I think it comes down to, just competing, consistency, how they look when they competed, fan bases, popularity. I said there's so many things, personality. There's a lot of guys that win shows that aren't the best bodybuilders, so it's like just crazy.
Yeah, Lee Haney is probably the most, he's probably the best at bodybuilding that we've seen, because he won 8 Olympias and he retired at like 30 or 31.
Some guys aren't even turning pro to 30 now. So
I mean, what if he had continued on and decided to try to keep up with Dorian? And because he probably would have ended up looking like Ronnie in reality, because he's only 31. Like it'd be crazy. He's probably on barely any drugs.
I reckon he could have easily. He'd probably be like Dexter Jackson type, going to his 40s and 50s and still looking great if he wanted to. But he was smart. He got out when he did. Got out while he's healthy. Look at him now. He's still healthy, still training, still helping people. So, he sort of got out when the time was right, and very smart.
Yeah. I think Lee Haney would do good today, but I don't think he would like win the Olympia or anything. I don't think he would be like that blown out big look that is going on.
It's hard to say, isn't it? Because when you saw him at his last Olympia in Florida, I remember when the stage turned around. Yeah. And he was standing there like that. It'd be interesting to see him looking like that, standing beside someone like Brandon Curry or someone, because, like I said, he had the chest, the arms, and they weren't like freaky, but just his proportions and the small waist and the back and stuff. It'd be interesting to see him.
Yeah, I would say if Lee Haney was born in like 1985, I think he would beat all these guys. I think if Lee Haney was born into this era, I don't think Phil Heath maybe, but I think he would be with the current, all the current stuff now, like this level. I think he would beat everybody. I think he was ridiculous.
Exactly, and like I said, he always trained smart too. You train to stimulate, not annihilate.
Yeah.
I had all these training videos, him and the rope man training and stuff like that. So yeah, he was very, very precise on his exercises and reps and the way he performed them. He didn't do nothing crazy and never used bad form and stuff like that. So
I used to love reading I don't know which magazine it was, but one of the magazines used to have like these specials where they would interview him and Rich Gaspari when they were training partners, and they would.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Cup of tea. Thank you.
Cup of tea. Imagine that.
Where's the biscuits? No, I'm joking. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were saying about Rich Gaspari. Then there's another guy too, Rich Gaspari. Look at him back in the day with his conditioning and stuff and that. If he was born in the mid 80s and went through to the 90s, I think he would have been up there still easily.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of them would have. But shit, even when you look back go back further to the muscle density that people like Bertil Fox had and stuff like that. Imagine those guys now. Like Bertil Fox, he was crazy thickness. Like his thickness was even probably thicker than like someone like Kai Green when you looked at Bertil Fox's chest, his arms, his fucking everything. Yeah. So for what they did back then, some of those guys, even when you look at someone like Serge Nubret, to me when I look at Bertil Fox, Serge Nubret, any of those guys, the quality of their muscle looks like, it's hard to explain. It looks like cut from stone quality, but real dense muscle. Whereas guys today, some of them have big muscles, some get vascular, so they look freaky. But to me, it still looks like a spongy type of, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Whereas you saw those guys back then, the Bertil Foxes and all that, it just looks so fucking dense. And they're on basic fucking Deca, Dianabol, very basic drugs. There's nothing fancy. They just ate fucking eggs, milk, fucking steak and shit like that. So for what they did back then and that dense quality thickness of muscle they had, I think it rivals anyone today still, some of those guys.
I think it's because of the freaks, like the guys who, look at Sergio Sr. The freaks are always freaks. And it goes to the point that you always make about genetics being so important. Like the reason you can have somebody like Sergio Oliva Sr., Sergio was, if you took Sergio Sr. at his best, you could put him with like a modern prep coach and prep him for 6 weeks, and he would be dangerous at any modern show. And that was like in the 70s, 60s even.
Like when you think back then, they were good. Like even Arnold and all those guys, they were as good as they had to be for that era. Like you never seen one of them totally shredded back then. They just come in cutting hard. So like you said, imagine them if they had to do what they had to do today. That'd be incredible today.
Right. And you had guys like all those guys like Bertil Fox, like the same sort of thing.
And you notice back then too, all those guys that had that freaky muscle, they weren't scared to fucking train. They trained for hours on end, sometimes twice a day, eating all this food, resting. They didn't talk about fucking overtraining and, any more than 45 minutes, you're doing too much and all this fucking bullshit. Yeah. Today it's just like people spend more time taking fucking photos on their phone than they do training.
Yeah.
It's like, I've got to make sure I post this. Got to make sure I post this picture. Okay.
It is different. It is. I wonder if you had a Mr. Olympia, like you had, Phil has been kind of the standard for a while, and he's so bubbly and so much looks like an action figure. I wonder if Mr. Olympia was someone that looked more like Dorian, if there that like hardness, that more like grainy hard look would come back. I don't know.
Be good, wouldn't it? I like that grainy look, cut out of stone look, granite.
Yeah. Let's see. We got Shane Coons His last name is Kuhn, so it should probably be canceled
no.
and banned.
Cancel him. Don't
Shane, how dare
culture.
you?
How dare
you?
He probably helped make the cheese.
Yeah. Shane Kuhn's 19. What's your favorite source of fat or fats?
What? My favorite source of fats. I don't have any fats. Whatever's in the food I'm eating. So I'm never one of these idiots. I will call you idiots. I got to add fats. I got to add coconut oil and this and essential fats to my food. I get fat from the food. If I'm eating a steak, whatever fat. If I'm dieting, I get like the leanest cut I can, whatever fat's in the steak. That's where my fat comes from. If I'm not dieting, like today, I had a ribeye for breakfast and it's got that marbling fat through it. I eat it. If I'm not dieting, I might have chicken thighs or drumsticks with whatever fat's on it. I leave the skin on, eat it. If I'm dieting, I have chicken breast and whatever fat's naturally in the chicken breast, that's where my fats come from, whatever source of food I'm eating. But I've never been one to add MCT oils or coconut oils or stuff like that. So whatever fat's in the food, that's where I get my fats from.
So I guess the answer to the question would be animal fats is your favorite source of fat.
It's not my favorite. It's just
that's the one that you
can't get rid of it. It's in the food. So I don't add anything. Off season, I might have some. I might have some butter on toast and stuff like that, but it's not for the fats. It's for the taste. And you know what? As the commercial says, you turn it upside down because it's good to taste the butter on the top of your tongue.
I don't know the commercial. It must be an Australian thing.
Something like that. When I used to diet in America, I was in love with I can't believe it's not butter spray. I'd sprayed it on my vegetables. I'd sprayed it on my potatoes. And then there was that other one you could shake it on. It was like flakes of butter or something, or different types of. Yeah, but I can't believe it's not butter spray. Got me through a lot of diets.
Let's see.
It's full of chemicals, but at that point when you're putting other chemicals in your body, what's it matter?
Yeah.
As I said, that's like those.
Do the diet, I guess.
That's like those wankers that live in California and spend millions on bottled water. And I say, why you drink bottled water for? Lee, I'm not drinking that tap water. There's stuff in that. As they sit there pinning themselves 4 times a fucking day with shit from Mexico. Oh yeah, don't want to touch the bad chemicals, do we?
Mm-hmm.
There's stuff
it's
in
like
the
people
water,
who are like, there's a lot of that.
It's like the dickhead I saw the other day with his mask on. Every time he fucking lifts his mask to take a cigarette.
Yeah. Exactly.
Watch out for the virus. If that doesn't get you, the fucking lung cancer will.
Yeah.
But it's like I said too. Didn't I say it last?
Like smoke.
But it's like I mentioned before. I'm not sure I mentioned on the show last time, but there's all these people about wear a mask. These fucking men carrying on like fucking little bitches. You should wear a mask. I'm thinking, mate, if a fucking hot fitness model or anyone come along now, dropped her fucking pants and said, fuck me, you'd be in there in a second without a fucking rubber on. You wouldn't care if you had a condom. She could have AIDS, chlamydia, fucking herpes, whatever. But you wouldn't give a fuck. You'd be fucking her with your mask on. I won't get COVID. But you wouldn't care about anything else. So all these people that go on about, I don't want to get corona. If they went out fucking drinking in a pub and a hot girl hit on them and she took them home and they had no rubber, they'd fuck them. They wouldn't think twice. So shut up with your fucking mask, you dickheads.
Yeah, like you don't have like – you could have – there's so many people who work with people who have COVID, like medical professionals that then go interact with their family, that then go interact with the public. Like it's not like – and you can't force these people to be sanitary about it. So to force people to wear masks is like you can't force people to be sanitary. Just because you force people to – someone could wear a mask, but then they could – so you could have somebody that like a woman who wears her mask all the time, but she is dating a doctor who works with COVID people, and they're not sanitary about it at all, and they have sex after he works on a COVID patient, and then she goes and works at Applebee's. Like that's definitely happening.
Well, I saw it the other day. Have you
she's
seen
wearing
this?
A mask.
Have you seen this? I've seen it even yesterday. I was out at the grocery store. Here it's just not mandatory, but you can wear one if you want. It's just up to you. But I see couples walking down the street. She'll have a mask on. He doesn't. And they're walking holding hands. I'm like, what's that going to do? He hasn't got a mask on. But it's like, you're a couple. And when you get home, you take your mask off. He hasn't been wearing one, so if he got anything, when you get home, you're going to get it anyway. So I like the ones you see the best of the person driving in their car with their mask on by himself. I'm like, what the fuck? God. What are you doing?
You see that all day long. I'm like, dude.
Who's in the car with you? Don't want Jesus to give you that fucking COVID.
Yeah. He's known for that.
Jesus, take the wheel. That's like... Yeah, but they're the couples I love the most. The ones that are just hand in hand and fucking.
Yeah.
One's got a mask on, one doesn't. Then they probably get home and kiss, and he hasn't had his mask on all day. It's like, well, what did the mask do you?
How about the people here and there that will have like fucking 2 masks, goggles, and then a face shield that like goes around their head, and it's like a whole shield. Then they talk to you, and they're like, "Rrr, rrr, rrr." And you're like, dude, come on.
I like it.
What are you, on Mars?
I see it at McDonald's when I go to. Sometimes in the morning, they got the big thick perspex up where you have to order through, and then they got the hole to pass it through. And some old people are like, can I get the thing, please? The girl's like, what? Can I get the thing? And they can't hear. So they go to the side of the perspex and look around and go, can I get 2 sausages and egg McMuffins? I'm thinking, well, what was the point of the fucking perspex? It's almost like, remember Get Smart? The code of silence would come down and they'd start talking. We need to find agent such and such. What's that, Max? I said, and then the person standing outside says, they need to find. It's like, what's the point of the fucking whole thing? Yeah, it's like it reminds me of the code of silence from Get Smart because they can't hear them through the thing. So then they put the head around the side of it. I'm like, well, that didn't do anything, did it? What's the point?
Yeah.
And then they hand you your receipt anyway, and it's like, or take the money off you. Or it's like the people at the supermarket had their mask on, but they're touching everyone's groceries, scanning them, and packing your bags. It's like,
people will be like, people will not want like a cashier to touch the stuff they're buying. And I'm like, it's been touched by a half dozen people just to get on the shelf. What do you, it's like these like feeble attempts at avoiding this. It's actually kind of adorable.
And then how many times does someone pick up a thing off the shelf? Oh, I don't want that one, put it back. And how many people have touched that one item on the shelf?
It could be hundreds. It could be hundreds.
And sometimes I see people, they'll grab the wipes and wipe their car. But I see people just take the shopping trolley and go in. You don't know how many people have touched the shopping trolley, coughed on it, spat on it, wiped their boogers on it. You don't know. Yeah.
I don't clean the shopping trolley when I go, and I haven't
I always laugh. Here's something you can do. Next time you're in a shopping centre, whether it be Kmart or Walmart, you know when you always see parents pushing the shopping cart around, the little kids sitting in it? I always look and go, fuck, what aisle did you get that cunt on? Because the kids are always sitting in amongst the groceries, like either screaming or doing something. I'm like, oh, what aisle are they on? What aisle are the kids on? They give me a dirty look like I'm a fucking pedo or something. I want to buy one. What aisle are they on?
We have a question about pedos. It's the Yeti. Yeti 97. Yeah.
Sasquatch.
Thoughts on pedos trying to turn LGBT or lesbian, gay, bi, trans into lesbian, gay, bi, trans, pedo.
Oh, Jesus, I've never heard of that. All I've heard of is pedos fucking molesting kids, and then they go to jail and they should be fucking left in there forever or put to death. You know, they can't fucking rehabilitate these bastards. So I don't
know if that's a real thing. Like he asked that question, but that doesn't seem like a real thing.
I don't know. Do pedos like trannies and all that, or try and change them? Pedos are just pedos. They're just like fucking young kids, don't they? I don't think they try and change people. Fucking, you know what? I'm going to rape you, young boy, but first you've got to get dressed up as a girl. I don't fucking. Wouldn't the pedo just go rape a young girl? That's like
right.
I think that person
what he's saying
that question.
What is he saying? What he's saying is apparently pedophiles are trying to make it are trying to lump themselves into a group with like trans and bisexual and gay and lesbian people, so that almost like saying it's this is how I was born, it's okay. In other words,
it's okay to like young kids to have sex with. Is that what they're trying to say?
Wouldn't bestiality be in between? I feel like you've leaped you skipped the bestiality step. It should be LGBTB before it would be LGBTP. Like fuck.
Well, look, sex. You know, sex with underage kids is wrong. So, look, if you're a pedophile, Get it out of your system when you're young. When you're 12, fuck a 12-year-old. When you're 13, fuck a 13-year-old if you want to get in. But once you get to adult age, you can't do it anymore, okay?
Yeah.
That's where they should allow. I know there was one company that made them, and they stopped them in some countries, but they made those fucking sex toys, and they were of younger kids. It's like, look, if someone's a pedo, as sick as it is, I'd prefer they fuck a fucking doll that looks like a child than an actual real child. You know, maybe if they had a doll, they might stop fucking real people, but, you know, put a little thing in the doll that, you know, after 6 months of fucking it gives them electric shock and kills them.
Yeah, like, oh, I like that idea.
I'm going to get Benny out the cupboard again, and it's timed after 4 or 6 months that when they go in, and they fucking fries them.
Yeah.
That'll be funny. Oh, we've been called to a house again. We found the man.
That was a real thing? That was a real thing?
Yeah, these dolls,
like dolls that look like kids for pedos? It's like a...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some company makes them because some guy got in trouble because he ordered one. Must be in America because some states don't allow it, and he had one coming in the mail, and he got caught. Oh, what's that in the mail? Oh,
they don't fuck around. They don't fuck around.
That's little Fred coming in the mail. He's like, you could have just lied and said, I'm getting it for my wife. She can't have children, so we're buying a child.
Yeah, like disguise it. Disguise it as a pretend child. And I guess it's a pretend child either way, I guess.
It's Annabelle. We're going to take her around.
Oh, man, that's fucked.
I think my idea of having something to get them after 6 months, it kills them.
You think about getting one or no?
Actually, I've seen those adult ones. They look real, some of them. Now, you've seen those robot-type fucking ones?
Yeah.
They're like fucking futuristic, weird looking. You can get them.
Don't you think that would be a little bit like... I feel like that would be a little bit scary. Like that would be very weird. Like having sex with this, just look at you. Yeah.
Like you've never had sex. You've never had sex with a girl that just lays there like this. Starfish.
Yeah, like having sex with this like dead face, just like.
And you're going to put them in the positions a pendo.
Yeah.
This way, that way.
And they're squeaking like a Barbie.
You got to oil it up. The worst thing would be, if you got to take her outside, the neighbours see you hosing her out, cleaning her. What are you doing? Nothing, just cleaning the missus.
Cleaning the mannequin.
Yeah.
Same face.
Yeah, it'd be funny. But some of those are lifelike, though. You'd swear it was a real person when you look at them. But maybe just sitting there like, I guess those weird, lonely people who don't like real people, those like introverts that hate going out, I guess they probably just sit there and be like Norman Bates. Hello, mother. How are you?
I feel like you'd fuck that thing so many times, and then it would just be like, I think you would just be over.
But you could unless
you were so far gone that you like. I guess there's some people who actually think
it'd be like anything, wouldn't it? You look at these guys that have these model type girlfriends, and you know that someone's tired of fucking it because you always see it when you're young. Why would he break up with her? Look at her, she's so hot. Yeah, she's probably fucking nuts and everything else.
You're one of those guys, Lee.
Wherever there's a beautiful girl, someone's tired of fucking her, Jeff. So, but at least with those dolls, you could change their hairstyle, and maybe you could use screw-on boobs and screw some bigger ones on.
You could adjust her. You could have her painted.
Get a sewing kit and tighten up her asshole. Do whatever.
Yeah. Oh, this needs to be adjusted here.
Yeah, I did see a site from once. I'd have to find it, but there was these ones. I think I'm not sure if it's Japan, but you can put in. You go into it. And it's like everything. You can put in the height, the weight, the curvature, how you want it to look, eye color. It's like they're like thousands of dollars, though.
Yeah,
I was thinking, wouldn't it be funny buying one that's coming through the mail that goes through the X-ray machine? It'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It'd be like that boxing Helena movie. Where fucking.
Do they have to be assembled, or they come like perfect? Do you have to
they come already assembled, so it's like a big box, a person in a box.
Yeah. That would be weird. That'd be weird.
Your delivery guy. Yeah, I got something for you. Oh, she's here.
I wonder if they're like the same weight. Guy,
yeah, you can get the weight, you can get everything, like the hips. However, it's like
so if you get a girl who's like fit and 5'5", is she gonna weigh like 140 or 135? Or is she I wonder if the doll weighs that much, or if it's like light because it's not made out of flesh and bone.
No, they probably have a little bit of weight, but probably not the exact as a person, because you want some weight if you
got it on top of you. Wouldn't it? That'd be a bitch. Especially if you had a thicker robot.
If you go on the top doing reverse cowgirl, you want some weight, so you don't have to.
Yeah, a little bit of weight, so you're not just.
Yeah. And next time the delivery man comes back, have her answer the door, just stand there in some lingerie.
Yeah.
Take her with you for a drive. She's just sitting in the car. Take her to the movies, put her in a wheelchair and take her to the movies with you. It'd be great for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, switching gears, no pun intended. My buddy Adam asks, what is your car history? Word on the street is a bit of a petrol head.
God, I think since I've even been home in Australia, when I moved back in 08, I've probably had over 25 cars since I've been home.
Jesus.
I couldn't list them. Like in America, I've had Dodge Charger, the Charger SRT8, Corvettes, a few different Hummers. I've had the
What kind of
Mitsubishi.
Corvettes?
I had a Z06, but then the other ones, the models just before that. But then I had a Stealth. Remember the Dodge Stealth years ago? This is going back to the early 90s. Had one of those Mitsubishi 3000 GTs back in the early days. Toyota Supra. And even here in Australia, I've had so many different four-wheel drives, Fords, Holdens. Oh, too many to list. I couldn't.
Yeah. What was
Dodge Viper. Had a Viper truck. Then I had the car Viper. I had a Lotus Esprit. Oh, I've had too many.
Viper truck.
Yeah, the Dodge SRT10 truck with the Viper motor.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, no, I think, but my favourite to this day, people always ask me out of all the cars, sports cars and that, still my favourite's the H1, the military. Yeah, that's the one I'd pick out of anything because it's just like, with cameras these days and speeding, it's not like you can go crazy fast anyway. So I've had 800 horsepower cars. It's nice to know you got the horsepower, but really you can't fucking use it.
Yeah,
there's too many speeding cameras, radars. But a Hummer, it went fast enough. It was a big 6-something litre turbo diesel. It went fast enough, but yet you could go on the road, in the bush, through the fucking water, through the mud, on the beach. You could go anywhere with it. And it had all the good tyre deflation inside, so when your mates have to get out and deflate their tyres, you just flick a switch, tyres go down, off you go on the sand. When you finish, just flick a switch, pump them back up. No, it's probably my favourite, the H1 Hummer.
Huh. What was the fastest car you had?
Ooh. The Maserati I got now is quick, but my Mustang was 720 at the rear wheel horsepower, supercharged. Damn. The Corvettes were quick, but...
What color was the Mustang?
The white with blue stripes.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was sick. That's the one that you had in...
Reality.
Yeah, you had it in one of the DVDs too. Right, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Probably that one.
What about most valuable?
Probably the Maserati I got now.
Nice.
It's insured for...
What kind of Maserati is it?
Quattraport S with the Ferrari motor, 4.7 aspirated Ferrari engine. It's probably, because I got it for a good price, it's actually what I brought it for or what it's insured. It's insured for 3 times the amount I brought it for. So if anyone out there is looking to steal my car...
Nice. I'll keep it in mind.
Yes. I don't want to back though. I don't want to back like a girlfriend that's been raped and you got to take them back and say you still love them when you don't. So I don't want the car back saying, "Oh, we can fix that."
I hate being in that position.
I don't want it back.
Who had the sickest cars back in like Venice? Was it like a competition between you guys at all, like in the Venice parking lot? Because like it's kind of a thing with bodybuilders.
I don't think there was a competition, but I know Flex and Chris. Flex had Cadillacs and Escalades, and Dillette had a BMW, and Dillette had his Mercedes, and Flex had a few different Mercedes. So it was generally Mercedes back then, Mercedes or Cadillacs and Escalades or BMWs. I think Chris, Flex, myself, Paul Dillette, we all went between BMWs of some sort and Mercedes or Escalades or Cadillacs. That was probably the main go around of cars going back then. Then when someone got one, A week later, it'll have the bigger fucking 22s on it, the fucking stereo, boom, 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 boom. I think flexing one of his cars, I think the whole trunk was almost fucking speakers and subwoofers.
Yeah. I remember that. Let's see.
Speaking of Paul, I was speaking to Paul Dillett yesterday, actually.
Oh, you were?
Yep, he's doing good. But he's over the COVID thing too. He's fucking, because he's in Canada. He's in Canada, so he's got shitty government like everywhere else.
Yeah, imagine that. Someone else was over it. He's doing well. Is he still doing that federation and everything?
Yeah.
Nice. Cesar Romero.
He played the Joker in the Batman TV series.
Cesar Aventurino.
Julius Caesar.
It might be Julius Caesar.
Could be Caesar. Cool. Could be Caesar salad.
Maybe my favorite.
Or maybe why the salad was embarrassed because it's sort of Caesar dressing. Yeah.
They ask.
Yes.
What year or contest do you think you were your best shape of your life?
I hate that question. I get asked that a lot when I do lives, and I don't know. I always leave it up to the fans to decide because you know yourself, you're never really happy with how you look. And I can look at one show and go, yeah, I look good there. That one I looked okay, but I can't really say which one I look my best at. So some fans say in the 2000s, some say 97, some say 98, some say the last universe I did. So I don't know. I'm my worst critic, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, of course. What do you think is your best placing? Like, what would you say if you had to pick like a proudest placing? Like, was it your fifth at the Olympia, or what was your proudest placing as far as like as a pro?
I don't even know. Oh, I could hear the wife doing the vacuuming. Good, do your work. I'm not sure. I think I get asked that too, but I don't even really think about that. I just always went into a show thinking if I've done 100% cardio, dieting, I haven't cheated on anything, and I've trained hard, whatever I got. So, I could say when I won the Ironman, that was good, or won the Australian Pro Show or the Night of Champions, or when I got second at some of the Ironmans. To me, if I ever got the top 6 or top 5 or top 3 at a lot of shows, which I did, to me that was great. So I don't really think that one was my proudest over the other. Because, causing trouble that I did back in the day, Jeff, I don't know how, just by speaking the truth and that. If I ever got a top 3 placing, that was like a win to me because I knew how much the judges would hate to place me high. So having them to actually go, fucking hell, he looks good. We can't fuck him that much or it's going to look obvious. So we have to give him third. To me, that's like winning the shows. Yeah.
I think you would have been. I think
every show I walked out, they would love to go, fuck, put that cunt last. Did you see what he said about bodybuilding and the politics and shit? Yeah, we'll put him last. Oh, wait, we can't put him last because then he looks better than all those guys. It'd look really bad if we put him last. Oh, fuck now. Fourth then. Fuck.
Yeah. I think your demeanor and your like the way that you didn't give a fuck about people's the parameters they set for you, so to speak. I think that does better today than it did back then, because back then nobody was doing that. Like now, if you listen to like Sergio Jr. like says shit that like what you would say. There's several guys now like that. It doesn't seem to be hurting them anymore with social media being so prevalent. I feel like there's a little bit more transparency. And I think, but back then you were like one of the only guys that was doing it.
I was ahead of my time. Like Sean Ray would say some stuff.
I was just going to say Sean would do it too.
Yeah, but he was more maybe PC. I'm not even PC, but more, he'd sort of say it, but try and be diplomatic, where I'd just say, fuck being diplomatic, just get straight to the fucking point. Yeah. This is fucking bullshit. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I just went straight in for the kill. Whereas he might have done it, in a different way. But no, I was ahead of my time again, Jeff, and I got punished for it.
What press conference was it where you where Wayne D'Amelio was like, well, you got to have it in writing, Lee. And then you had it like in your suit in writing.
2002. I think it's on YouTube. Yeah, I stood up and handed him the letter.
Yeah. That was awesome.
I was with Kathy then, and Kathy was at the table behind me when I did that. She's like, "Oh, what the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, that was awesome.
Actually 2003 it was. 2003 press conference.
2003.
If you Google it on YouTube, you'll see that. And Lee, Wayne says, you said if these guys didn't get any money, you would stand up and walk out of here. And I said, yeah, I would, but I just happened to have it in writing, so I got up and handed it to him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And from that day on, all the athletes got $2,000 who didn't place in the top 10. And then Sean Ray and Bob Ciccarello in the longer version of it, about 10 minutes later in the same video, Sean's like, and what about all the athletes getting paid? Wayne's like, we've covered that, Sean. You should have been here earlier.
That's awesome. That's cool. People don't know that shit.
No, but if you find on YouTube 2003 Lee Priest press conference, you'll find that there's the short version where it's just got me and Wayne, and then the longer version where Bob and Chick come in a bit later on and have their say, and Wayne's like, that's been discussed. We've done that. Everyone's getting paid, Sean. You weren't here. So Sean tried to say he's the one that got the money for everybody when he did it. It was I.
Oh, yeah. Unbelievable. Two different people.
And by the way, too, look at this. The Lee Priest Power Grip Liquid Hand Chalk's in an easy-to-use squeezable tube now. Just shake it and put it on your hands, and your hands are sanitized, and you got great grip.
Huh.
That's a little fucking commercial there.
You ship to America?
Yes, ship worldwide. This is 99.9% alcohol. Send me your address and I'll send you some. It's actually going to come in blue bottles soon with nice silver writing on it. This is like a sticker on a tube at the moment. But, yeah, could you just put a little bit on your hands about the size of a dime, like shake it up so the alcohol and chalky mixes, and it goes on clear. And then when it dries, you just got this white film on your hands. Gives you really good grip, plus they're sanitized.
That's cool because I'm going to be training at home a little bit more now. Now that I have a house.
And the good thing is, because it's chalk, a lot of gyms hate chalk because people get the big blocks and they go, it's like fucking, it's like fucking scene from Scarface. In case people don't know what Scarface is, there's a big pile of cocaine on the table. But with this, it doesn't. Look, I'm going to show you, Jeff. Hold on.
Oh, get it.
Someone's just tuned in again. I'm just shaking the hand cream, people. Calm down. Oh, look, it's got a seal on it. I'm going to have to open it. Don't you hate these? Sometimes I wonder how the old people do this shit. Look at this. Uh-oh, what did I do? Got excited. I'm going to show you.
Big one.
For the babies. Oh, you can smell the alcohol in it, trust me. Ooh, you can probably get drunk on that. But it's 99.9% alcohol. So, and the good thing is too, if any little bit does come off, say like you're using a bar with knurling in it, and a little bit of the chalky stuff goes off into the knurling, it actually sanitizes the bar. So rather than people leaving their dead skin in the knurling at a bar.
Or blood.
Even better.
Yeah.
Here we go. Look, it's drying now, as you can see.
Oh, yeah. Looks just like you chalked your hands.
Watch out. Lee's being racist. He's doing white hands.
White hands.
See, look. And as it dries, it's just like, look, it doesn't, no mess.
Huh.
You might get a tiny bit will come off, but see, this way now you've got chalky hands and they're sanitized, so you've got this film of protection on your hands while you're training during Corona and COVID. In my, I'll send you some. Send me your address and you can tell people what you think of it, be honest. But if anyone else wants it, there's a link in my bio on Instagram. And if stores want to buy it, they can email and they get a really good price. I think in America, you'd be looking at about $4 to $5 a tube. It lasts a long time.
Yeah. That's not bad at all.
In Australia, it's like $8 or $9. But with the exchange rate, America's a lot cheaper. Then if they buy them in bulk, 50 or more, it's cheaper still. And then you can sell them if you want for fucking 10, 11.
The chalk, like whenever I train, if I'm having a training session where I need to use chalk, I inevitably leave the gym covered in fucking chalk.
Well, here you go,
like,
Jeff. Look,
head to
no
toe.
more. No more. Look.
Yeah. I'll give it a shot.
Makes your hands white. You got great. You get the exact same grip, but also you got the sanitization, and you don't get the fucking powder fucking everywhere. Because you don't have that big chalk, do you, where you rub it on like this?
Yeah, of course.
Or you go like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, there you go. No more.
Sweet.
Lee Priest Power Grip.
Lee Priest Power Grip. Check it out. Look at that. What year is that picture? That's pretty old, huh?
That was 2006. Where is it going?
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I see it. That's like when you did the shoot with David Henry.
Yeah, around then, yeah.
You know how many times I read that article?
Yeah.
I don't even want to say. Two different people asked this question. Brett96 and La_row_Qui. Did you ever train with Victor Richards?
No. I've seen him occasionally in the gym, but didn't train. Even though I'm rubbing it off, it doesn't come off much. Look. No, I didn't. I'd see him leave the gym, but he'd get kicked out a lot of golds because he was very rude to some of the ladies. I remember one day he was walking out of Gold's gym. He'd go through stages, and Ed Connors would have to kick him out because one day he was walking out of the gym, a girl was walking in. He's like, "Show us your pussy." So
interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
But never trained with him.
For those who don't know, Victor Richards was a
freak.
Was a freak. He was a black dude with kind of a flat top, and he was just a freak. He was almost like a Rami type dude, like huge, massive guy, but never competed. He was like Rami, but with
he'd be like Phil Heath and Kai Green combined type physique.
Yeah.
Massive legs, chest, arms. Yeah,
he was taller though, right?
He's probably a little bit taller than Phil. Not much, I don't think, but it was always that. He was pretty smart though, because he never competed. I think it made him more valuable because everyone's like, imagine if he competed, he'd win. If he competed, he'd win. So he had this aura about him because he had that aura the whole time. When you saw him, you're like, fuck, he'd beat everybody. So I figured if he did do a show and get beat, it would take that aura away, like, oh, he's shit, such and such beat him. So by not competing, it was more beneficial to him, I think. So
Right. He had that one.
I think to get his pro card, he actually went to Nigeria, Africa somewhere, and won the Mr. Loincloth. It was so funny. I saw pictures from it. Had like these. The other couple of people in the show look like fucking marathon runners. Like they've been out on the fucking Serengeti chasing the fucking lions.
Next to Victor Richards. Yeah, Scott will have to put a picture of Victor Richards up.
Let's see if you can. But see if you can go back and find that picture when he won his pro card, because these guys, I swear to God, they've just come from Shaka Zulu movie. They're just fucking thin, hardly no muscle, and here's fucking Victor standing in the fucking middle. It's like, gee, I wonder how he won his pro card.
I wonder how good he would have been.
I think he would have done well, but I think just having that aura by not competing made it better for him. It's almost like how we are with Kai now. Everyone's like, imagine if Kai competed, how would he have done? How would he have done? And this sort of shit. So he actually probably made more money by not competing than if he had have. Because if he did compete and say he got fourth, people are like, oh, he's shit. He got fourth, so he wouldn't be as in demand. But because he didn't compete, he was in more demand for guest appearances and guest posings because people wanted to see him.
Right.
He did come into the firehouse one day and started yelling at Gary Stride, and that was funny because Gary Stride was from South Africa, and Gary was up the back because I'd had breakfast with Gary sometimes or lunch, and he come in, your people killed my people. He's like, what? He goes, you're from South Africa, and that your people killed my people. The whites killed the blacks. Gary's like, my people didn't kill fucking none of your people. It's like,
what?
Yeah.
Sounds like Victor Richards was a bit of a wacko.
Get over his moments.
Damn. I never knew. Huh. I didn't know that story about him turning pro with a bunch of skinny Ethiopians either.
Yeah, find the picture. It's interesting.
What was he like in real life as far as was he like as freaky as they say? Because I'm too young to ever, I don't know.
I never saw him. Every time I saw him, it was always generally he was leaving the gym, so he'd be across the car park and stuff. I never really saw him like this close type thing. But he looked pretty freaky and stuff. But Yeah, because like I said, half the time he wouldn't always train at Goals. He'd always be somewhere else, or if he was at Goals, he'd be kicked out for a couple of months for doing something wrong. Or you have to ask Ed Connors all the stories about him. He knew about Victor.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think his mum and dad, people say he got so big and shit because his mum and dad were like, one was a doctor and one was a biochemist.
Huh.
I think that was the story, or I think it's true that, yeah, one was a doctor, one was a biochemist, so they reckoned that, so they say he would get the drugs or that experiment, like that, I guess.
Huh. That's not that. There's a lot of athletes now, I feel like, that have like their parents are almost too perfect. Mm-hmm. Like one of their parents will be like a fucking Olympic sprinter. Like their father would be an Olympic sprinter, and their mother is like a fucking Division I volleyball player. Whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of the freak show athletes now, if you look at their parents, they're both like. I always said if you and Adela had a kid, it would have been the biggest freak of all time. Because Adela was a freak. Mm-hmm. Obviously.
She was just talking to me not long ago on Instagram.
What's she up to?
No, prepping for the Olympia. She's doing a comeback.
Really? That's Adela Garcia we're talking about. Yeah. The most decorated fitness competitor ever.
Yeah, she's doing a comeback this year, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think she can, have you seen what she looks like or anything?
Yeah, there's a couple of videos on there training and stuff and doing routines and that, so she seems to be in the right frame of mind and stuff like that. As far as her routines go, they're always on point, so it's going to be interesting to see. But, yeah, I think, I hope they don't do the, if she comes in great, looks great and does a good routine, I hope she wins and gets what she deserves. I hope they don't do the, sometimes they think, well, she hasn't been around since this long. If we put her in and she wins, it's almost like saying no one else has progressed. But it's like, no, if she's that good, give her what she deserves. Don't just hold her against her saying, oh, you can go for 6-7 years and come back and win again. If she deserves to win, she should win.
Yeah, for sure. When was the last time she competed? It's been 5 years or something?
At least. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Maybe 6 or more, was it? 08, 10? I don't know. It's been a while. Could even be longer. They'd have to Google it.
I think she was competing, maybe 2010.
I know it's been quite a few. At least six or 7 maybe.
Damn. That's cool. I'm excited.
Yep.
Let's see. How many times a week do you train arms? You ever heard that one before? Once? Now it's twice, unfortunately. This guy... Kevin,
I only ever trained them once a week at their best even, so it's not like any other body part. Some people think, if you've got a lagging body part, you got to train it more, but no, just fucking when you train it, blast it hard and train the shit out of it. If you want, I used to tell people sometimes, if you got enough time in between, like say you did arms, say on a Friday, and then you might take Saturday, Sunday off, and then Monday you do legs, chest or whatever, then when you do back, maybe on your back day, because your biceps are a little bit warm, just do an extra 5 sets of barbell curl or something, or after a chest workout, throw in a tricep exercise for extra tricep. But, you don't think, if I train it more, it's going to get bigger type thing. But sometimes after a while, you just get tired and might get an injury and wear it out. So just when you do it, just do it justice.
Yeah. All right. This one, I don't know. Scott and I don't know what this guy's talking about, but maybe you do, because it has to do with like NABBA and shit. He says, do you feel excited? This is Kevin Blewett.
Mm-hmm. He blew it.
Kevin Blewett? I don't know. Maybe that's his last name, or it's a joke. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Kevin Blewett. Do you feel excited about bringing back to basics for bodybuilders to compete with any choice of shows without restrictions with your generous support of NABBA Oz? Do you have any idea what he's saying?
Yes, I do, because the Lee Priest Classic is going to be on at the end of the year in Australia from NABBA. NABBA's running the Lee Priest Classic, Jeff.
So let me finish it. Has there been any response from across the pond of U.S. of this revolutionary movement of the competitive bodybuilding world of Australia?
Not that I know, because it's an Australian show, but we can't send a team to the universe due to COVID and that. But, if people do well, they can qualify for next year's nationals and not have to go through qualifying rounds. But, yeah, we've had probably 50 to 60 people sign up and register to do the show. We're thinking of pushing it back even maybe to the beginning of December to give people an extra month. It's sad because there's quite a few from Melbourne, Victoria coming, but Victoria is one of those states that's in total lockdown. All the gyms are shut. So for people to train properly down there will be hard. But, yes, the Lee Priest Classic will be going ahead this year in Australia, run by NABBA Australia. And didn't you know, Jeff, the president of NABBA Australia is?
Yours truly.
There you go.
Nice, as it should be.
I'm finally a president of something. I'm president. You shall address me as Mr. President from now on.
Mr. President. Mr. President and Coach Greg.
Thank you, Jeff. Go ahead.
Jeremy Anderson, inspiration to start bodybuilding.
He-Man cartoon.
He-Man cartoon. Nice.
That was it. I just wanted to look like He-Man.
Yeah.
Never did it to compete. Never did it to anything else. I just wanted to look like He-Man, and people said you should compete. I'm like, maybe. And even then, when I was competing, I never wanted to be a pro. It just, I think if you love something and you enjoy doing it, things will fall into place where they're meant to be.
Yeah.
I think so many people I see, I want to be pro. I want to be Mr. Olympia and this sort of shit. 20 years later, they're still training, abusing gear. I want to be pro. I want to be Mr. Olympia. If you got it, you got it. It'll happen no matter what sport it is, no matter what you do. If it's something in work industry or computers and you're fucking tech smart and you really enjoy doing it, you'll fucking exceed and become top of your game. Or if you're good at basketball and you love playing it as a kid and you're really good at it, you'll probably end up going pro if you've got the genetics. So it's like anything. If you give it 100% and you enjoy it, that's your passion, and you've got the build for it or the mind for it, whatever, you're going to exceed at it. So I always say, like, I wanted to do the He-Man. I wanted to look like He-Man, but pretty much the sport chose me because I just wanted to look like He-Man. And then when I got the muscle, now people said, this is what you should do with it. So then, okay, I started competing and then winning shows. Oh, you should be pro. I'm like, no, I don't want to be pro. And then went to America, turned pro. So things just pretty much, it wasn't me going, I wanted to do this. I'm going to be a pro. This is my dream. It just happened.
Yeah. I wonder why it is that some kids see He-Man and it's just like a jacked character and it doesn't affect them. And then other kids see He-Man and they're like, oh, what the fuck? Look at all those muscles. I want to have all those muscles too. It's weird. It's such a common story that you just see muscles and you're like, oh shit, I want muscles like that.
Well, it happens. Look at Fat Albert. How many kids watch Fat Albert? Now just look around America. How many fat kids there are?
Hey, hey, yeah.
Who was the one that used to wear the basket on his head? Hey, baby.
I don't know.
Okay. That's an old. I wonder if you could have that show these days. That might not be PC anymore. Fat Albert and Friends, wasn't it? That's the name of the show.
Yeah, I've watched it a couple times. Yeah, it's.
It wouldn't be able to have that show because that
you
was
couldn't
Bill
put
Cosby.
anything from you couldn't put anything from back then. Now, even the cartoon.
Fat Albert, let me just get you a drink.
Albert.
Let me just get you a drink and put a little pill in that drink. Fat Albert going to give you love time on the couch.
It's going to crush you. How about this one? Setting bulking macros.
Yeah. Someone asked me today. I said, like, Lee, when you were bulking, how much protein did you have? How many carbs did you have? It's like, it's bulking. You're just bulking. You're eating whatever. You don't count fucking calories. You don't count macros. You don't count grams of protein or carbs or fats. You just fucking eat. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you do is eat. Don't worry about. And I'm sure if you're eating all day long or grazing like I did, you're going to cover how much protein, carbs, and fats you need. You'll probably actually go over, but who cares? Just
if
you feel like you're getting too fat, don't eat so much. It's quite simple.
Did you ever in the off season look in the mirror and say, "You better eat a little bit cleaner today"? No. Never. You just didn't care.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't look in the mirror. Even in the contest shape, I didn't look in the mirror because I'd be like, you know what? I've been dieted down a bit. I bet I'm looking good. So in my mind, I had this He-Man picture, and I take my shirt off and I go, oh, fuck, put the shirt back on. So I wouldn't even look when I was in shape. That's why I used to hate doing photo shoots half the time because they'll either want you in a tank top or no shirt. and I fucking hated staring at myself in the mirror in a tank top or no shirt. Even though everyone's like, "Oh, mate, you look good," I'm just like, "Oh, fucking hell." So many times, two photographers would go, "We're going to shoot at this gym," so we'd get there. There'd be too many people. I'm like, "I'm not doing it." Yeah, you need to take your shirt off. I said, "No, I might wear a sleeveless top. I'm not taking my shirt off. There's too many people." So I would do it. They get pissed. I'm like, "I don't give a fuck. I'm just not that type of person to be showy and take my shirt off."
That happened on Bodybuilders Reality, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think that exact scenario where so they like you were off season. You weren't fat, but you were huge. And you had like a t-shirt on, or no, maybe you had a beater on. You had a t-shirt on, then you took it off. You had a beater on, and they wanted you to take the beater off, and you were like, "I don't know, I don't want to." And it was like an argument for like a second. Yeah.
Fucking idiots.
Sean Farron asked, Trump or Biden?
Trump.
I agree.
Trump all the way.
Not that it matters, but I agree.
Fucking Biden. He's funny though. I thought Bush was funny with some of the shit he said. Biden takes the cake. Fucking hell. He needs to be in a fucking home, that cunt. He's fucking delusional. I'd love to see a debate though, because he'll definitely have to have an earwig in that cunt. He couldn't think of nothing off the top of his head. They'll be trying to tell him in his ear what to say but even if they do tell him what they say in his ear, he'll probably hear something different and go, blah, blah, what? It's like,
yeah, that's the problem. That must be the problem. I don't know. I don't really think it matters, to be honest. I think because
in the end, it's like, look,
that guy's going to be in the country.
No, that's why I prefer Trump just because he says what he says and that, but really I couldn't care less because we all know it's like when we pick prime ministers here, anywhere else, they're just fucking figureheads. They got no fucking say in shit. They can't do anything. They got to go through Congress, and then Congress is pretty much run by the fucking big elites and all the money and shit. So it's all fucking bullshit. It's just a waste of fucking taxpayers' dollars in the long run. So
is it the same there with like you go from one prime minister who's like this kind of person and has these kind of values, then the next prime minister is the exact opposite type of person, and nothing fucking changes. Yeah. Like they don't really ever do anything.
No. Then they blame the other person or the other party that was in before them or the one before that. And it's all shit. I always hate too that you get it there, or you get it here when elections come along. Vote for me. I'll put an end to this. I'll stop this. I'll do this for the community. They give all these big fucking speeches of what they're going to do. So you vote for them and they don't fucking do it. Now, if I said, look, you work for the people, the taxpayers pay your wage, you're a public servant. Say you owned a big company, Jeff, and you're hiring, and I come in for an interview. Lee, what can you do? Well, fuck, Jeff, I can program computers. I'm good at writing out programs. I can do this, I can do that. And you go, oh, that sounds good. You got the job. 6 months later, you're like, Lee, you haven't done any programming or you haven't done this. I just said that to get the job. You'd fucking fire me straight away. So why is it when these politicians lie and give all this shit and we're thinking, okay, I'm going to vote for you because you said you're going to make all these changes, whether it be to healthcare, to schooling, to immigration. I like your policy, so I'm going to vote for you because you're going to do this. But then when you get in, you don't do any of it. Why can't they be fucking kicked out? Because you lied to fucking get there. Like I said, if we lie in a job interview and we don't do what we say we can going to do, if we put in a resume and we fucking lie on it, I can do that. I can do that. Just make it sound good. And then you get hired and you don't do anything that you said you could do. You're going to get fucking fired straight away. So
right, yeah.
Why do we keep these assholes in for?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like a silly game that's played
and then they go,
every 4 years.
I'm trying to do it. As a Republican, I'm trying to do this, but the Democrats keep blocking it. Then the Democrats will be like, well, we're trying to make changes, but the Republicans keep blocking it. I'm like, you dumb cunts. Why can't you just come together? You can see it's the best for the fucking country and the people. How fucking dumb are you? The people can see it, but you just want to fight back and forth. Well, to do that, we better have a commission to look into it, which will cost another $10 million to have this commission to look into it. And it's like, oh, fuck, nothing gets done.
Yeah. It's nuts. It's crazy. Like you said, everyone fights. Everyone is fighting with each other as if like we all want the same shit. Like it's not like we really want anything different when it comes down to it. No, like when it comes down to it, we all want the same shit. Like
if it's something really big where you could have a slight argument and go, well, maybe we should do it this way. It might save more money, or if we do it this way, it'll incorporate more people into it. then okay, maybe have a little discussion and a standoff. But when it's something so basic like fucking healthcare for people or helping pensioners and old people, where it's like finding housing for people or helping veterans, where you know it's the right thing to fucking do, how can you fucking argue about shit like that when it's the fucking right thing to do? Just come together, fucking work the shit out and do it. It's that fucking simple. Don't go back and forth and blame each other and then 5 years later still nothing's got done. That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, that's how it goes too. That's how it goes. It sucks.
And then if Biden gets in, he'll be, we can't do that because we're fixing up the mess Trump left. They always blame the fucking last party before them. It's like, here we go again.
And then at the end of their term, it's the same issues as there was before. It's the same exact, like, it's like the country exists a certain way, and what president it has doesn't seem to change that at all.
No. Which, the rich and the elite still get richer and richer. So and the poor and the homeless and the vets and all them still fucking don't get what they deserve. So it's just all bullshit. I just don't, the whole thing, and even the money they spend on elections, I'm thinking you couldn't think of somewhere better for that fucking money to go. It's like,
it's amazing how much you know about American politics compared to how much we know about Australian politics. Dude, like, nobody here even knows who the fuck your prime minister is. I don't. Nobody, like, it's so.
I'll tell you.
We have no idea about your politics. Nothing.
This might help you and some Americans. Just in case you're playing trivia or you're at a quiz contest and there's money involved, Malcolm Turnbull is the Australian Prime Minister.
Malcolm Turnbull. Is he a prick?
He's like he's a family man, Christian man. He tries to do his best, but he blames the party before him again, and they'll blame him. And he's pretty straight down the line. Anyone like that, they try and do their best. But if you're the leader of a country, hey, whatever goes wrong, you're getting the fucking blame for it.
Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't matter. The other opposite side, everything's your fault. It's like Biden going on about everything. It's like you were fucking vice president at one stage with Obama. What the fuck did you do for 8 years? Nothing.
Right.
And then it's like, and how long have you been in politics for? Like 40 odd years? What have you done? Fucking nothing. So why all of a sudden now, in your fucking heyday years when you should be in a nursing home, you want to run the fucking one of the most powerful countries in the world? I was going to say the powerful, but you got China in that now, so you never know who's the most powerful. But it's like, what the fuck are you going to do now? You're fucking so old. Jesus, there should be a limit. Some of those politicians too in Congress, once they hit fucking 65, 70, you're fucking out there. You've got to get new blood in. You can't. Who was that one guy that was in there? I think he finally died in his 80s or 90s. He was like a fucking racist. He was back in the slave days, and he was fucking still. I forget his name. But it's like you need to get new blood, younger people.
American?
He was American, yeah. It was a well-known fucking racist and shit, but you need to get fucking younger people in with fresher minds and like not the crazy type like fucking Thornburg and all those type of people. Not like Greta type young, but just young people. To me, it's even like I said before in Australia or America. I don't believe in. Here we have the Labor Party, the Liberal Party. We have the Greens, the Independents. They all fight against each other. But we should just have a group of people like. I like to form a government with some retired people. Some people that work in mining, some people that work in electronics, people that work in just the public sector in offices, train drivers, bus drivers, cab drivers. Like, how many people are in Congress? A couple of hundred? I'm sure I could go get a couple of hundred people of average people, teachers, doctors, lawyers, who have actually been there in the real fucking world and know what it's like to live in a real fucking world. Now how hard it is to have a job, pay bills, know what it's like when the electricity bill comes in. You've got to choose, do I pay this bill, feed the kids? Like real life fucking people. Because have those people run the country because they're not fucking like fucking spoon in the mouth rich people who have been fed into politics their whole life through the rich families and shit like that. I'd have real people there. And sure, you might argue back and forth, but the common goal is you're fucking real people. You know what it's like in the real world, so you know what needs to be fucking done to make your country good and sort problems out. Not just having these people sit up there who are, oh, let's do this, let's do that, throw money at it, don't throw money at it, and nothing ever gets done because, hey, they're comfortable, they're rich anyway, and they've just, like I said, these career politicians, it's just fucking bullshit. You need real people there. Be like those people that sit back those war generals who have never been in a war in their life, and they sit back and tell these soldiers to get in there, go out there and fight, put their lives on the line, on the front line being shot at, and they're sitting back in their fucking office in Washington. Oh, I know what it's like to go to war. No, you don't, dickhead. You haven't fucking done anything.
It's kind of bizarre how similar your politics are to ours, and how similar, like, the COVID stuff is being handled as well. It's like the same exact. We may as well be living a mile from each other. Like, it's the same exact nonsense. Like,
no, we just
in
had
Australia and in America.
Our big airline Qantas just laid off another 2,500 people in Australia, saving millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. But now they've outsourced it to countries overseas. Sometimes it seems like this is a good ploy to fire people here and then outsource it to other countries and get cheaper fucking labor. But yet the CEO still gets like his $50 million a year.
Yeah, the same shit is rampant here.
It's like,
actually, this goes along with that. Martin,
heaven forbid a CEO takes a pay cut. I'm getting $50 million a year. I only get $10 million this year, and put the other $40 million back into the company to try and keep it going for the workers. Fuck, you can't live on $10 million for 1 year. Oh, poor bastard.
The way the money is spread, like the people at the bottom get this, and the people at the top get like this.
And it's the people down.
The money is distributed.
It's the people down here at the bottom working their asses off that are giving the people up here all that fucking money.
Yeah. Even if the people on the top are working their asses off, it's like, why would you have such a vast discrepancy? It should be like, it should make sense.
But even as a CEO of a bank or a company, what can you do that's that important when you oversee stuff, because you've got all these workers under you? What can you do that's worth $50 million a year?
I don't know. You probably make really important decisions once a month.
They bring a book in and go, can you just sign this? Oh, okay, what is it? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But Martin B, 247, Lee's thoughts on all the restrictions in Australia.
Shit. They're pretty shit. To me, it's like, look, Corona's around. The flu's disappeared this year, so I think half the people with Corona just have the flu.
It's magic.
It's just like, I believe if you are in that elderly and you are susceptible to things, or you do have underlying problems where it could affect you, sure, take precautions, wear the mask, wear the gloves, stay home, whatever. But everybody else who's fit and healthy, who can do stuff, should be able to go to fucking work, go to the gym, resume as normal. Like, if you're going to get it, you're going to get it. But generally, like, it's only like 99.9 or 4% of people fucking survive and get through it. So why are we shutting down the whole fucking country and ruining economies and families and businesses over something that killing just a small amount? Well, here, I think another 5 died. They're in their fucking 80s and 90s in nursing homes. So, as sad as that is, like I said, that flu 2 years ago killed more people than this has, and we didn't shut the country down for that. So I just find it's fucking crazy. It's like,
why do you think that's happening? Why do you think that there's like this overreaching of control for something that's like, is at least to most people in the public, like clearly not the issue it's being made out to be?
I have no idea, because even too, when you see the way they would have things open and things shut, shopping centres open, bars and restaurants are open, but gyms were shut. So it's like, even their rationaling on what was open, what was closed, never made fucking sense on half the shit. So who knows what the logic is? Some people say they want to get rid of small business and this and that. Some people say it's a one way to get to a cashless society, because now a lot of ATMs are being taken out of places here, and old people that go to the bank with their banking books, they call them passports here, banking passport, they're getting rid of that now. You've got to do it online, and some of these old people can't use a computer. So who knows what the bigger picture is or motive is? We hear all these theories and stuff. So I don't rule anything out, really. It's like, I keep an open mind. Anything could be involved, because for what it is, though, it just seems pretty weird, considering when we had the swine flu and all these other things that killed a lot more people, we never did anything this drastic. So it just seems, I could understand if young kids were dying, school kids dropping dead, teenagers dropping dead, healthy, fit people dropping dead. I think once in a while, someone in their 40s died. See, it doesn't discriminate. One person in their 40s died, but yet 190-year-olds died. So I think it's like, but that one person who was still 40 might have had fucking asthma or something to begin with anyway. So
right, you don't know.
It's just,
you don't know.
Nah, But I think it's crazy because here Queensland now and New South Wales, because we've got Victoria's a state, New South Wales where I live, and then Queensland. Queensland shut the borders because where I live had 7 new cases, so they shut the border so people in Queensland and New South Wales can't go back and forth. Canberra, the ACT, that's the capital. It's a state inside New South Wales. They've had no cases, and Queensland won't even let them travel up there. Victoria's the same, and like where Tony Doherty's gym is, it's just ruined the fucking economy. Businesses.
7 cases.
Yeah,
7 cases. I bet you 6 of them were asymptomatic. I bet you 6 of them didn't even get sick, and then one of them laid in bed for 2 days.
Six
shut the borders.
6 with a flu. Yeah, so now it's like, you can't travel, and all the places in Melbourne are shut, and so many businesses are going under. The government's just throwing out money to people. They reckon maybe Victoria won't open up its borders to 2021. It's fucking ridiculous for what it is. Look, that's why I said I understand if you are susceptible to flus and colds and getting sick, yes, take the precautions, stay home. But if you're a healthy, fit young male, female, or whatever, go about your life normal. Yes, still wash your hands, take precautions, sanitize when you can. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. But we need to open the country up and get things fucking going back to normal. Otherwise, it's like they're doing shit now and they're still having sporting events going on. It's like, how important is a sporting event? I'd rather see businesses open so people can employ people than watch fucking 16 guys run around a football field and fucking tackle each other and shit. But that's more important. But
yeah, you would think. It's so ridiculous. It's so crazy. I don't know.
Well,
it's also crazy
in the
how
long
many
run,
people.
It's just going to be worse in the long run when it comes down to how many businesses are shut and people going under when it's all said and done. And then, like people are saying, the mental health aspect of it, just the physical health aspect of it, it's just fucking crazy.
It's brutal. And there's a lot of people that I feel like there's way more people who think what's happening is fucking nonsense than there are people who think what's happening is totally reasonable and is an accurate response to the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think I talk to people all day. Like, people in the public are like,
mm-hmm.
almost all of them are like, what the fuck is going on? Like, there's nobody sick anywhere. And there's these little pockets that we hear about, but it's like, you've already caught news stations using fake footage and all this shit. Yeah. Like, how do you fucking know anyways? Like, it's bull.
Like I said, everything should just open up and everyone just practice safe hygiene, wash your hands. If you are going to go on public transport and the train is crowded, okay, then if you feel like wearing a mask, wear a mask. When you get off, sanitize your hands. You've been touching all the stuff on the train. But, if it just came down to let people use their common sense. Like I said, if you are sick or you feel a bit off, stay home, get checked. If you got it, stay home. If you're elderly and have underlying problems like a heart condition, respiratory problems, stay home. Or if you do go out, yes, you wear the masks and gloves and shit. But, you got to get the people out there and get back to work, because I think this whole locking people down and shit's making people worse, making people go crazy. And it's just,
I know. It is.
It's just ridiculous.
So PDS Printing asks, I promoted Serge Nubre's last ever seminar.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of his protege, Terry Pastel?
Very good.
I saw him compete and thought he was hugely overlooked. His arms rivaled yours, Lee, with a wink face.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, he had good arms. I don't know if they rivaled mine because they were sort of different a bit, but he was a great bodybuilder, Terry Pastel. It was like he was there 1 minute doing good in shows and looking great, then he just vanished. It's like he just stopped competing.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever.
Making me a note.
I don't know what happened to him. He did look great. He had great body and stuff and good lines, but then he just was almost like he was competing, and then, normally someone you hear they retired or they got sick or they gave up for this or that. He just sort of, I never really heard why he stopped. He just sort of stopped.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to put a picture of him up. We'll get a picture of him up so people can see the arms that he's talking about.
Yeah, he looked good though. He was good. He's only short too. He's only about probably my height.
Yeah. It's real short.
Let's
see. We got any other good ones? Dom Hitchin asks, Did Lee and his mom train together for the couple show? And he also asked, how did your mom find the training?
She found the dieting hard because she's like me and she loves food. But no, we train together now and then, but she normally trained by herself. We trained the same gym, sometimes at the same time, but my grandmother would spot my mother, and my grandmother was her walking partner. But my mum enjoyed the training, but she hated the diet. I remember one time my sister was eating the chocolate, and I come home and my mother had her against the wall by the throat trying to get the chocolate off her.
Oh, man.
Child abuse, see that? No, the diet was the hardest thing for her because, like I said, she was a little bit pudgy and loved eating, loves her sweets. But, the training she enjoyed and stuff, but she did it for like 2 or 3 years she competed, but then she just sort of gave up. She does a little bit of stuff now, but not like she used to. But, no, she just wanted to mainly do that couples. That's what she aimed for. But then after that, she did a couple more shows.
Okay. So the couples was her first show.
Yeah, that was like a goal to do that, yeah. That's what she was aiming for. And me being young at the time, and she was overweight, I'm like, yeah, go ahead, get in shape, I'll do it. Then when she got in shape, I'm like, oh, fuck, now I've got to go on stage with my mum. I just won my class at the Australia, and I think I just won the Mr. Australia. And she talks about it in the video. When I was on one side of the stage, she was on the other side. I saw her there, so I come around, and Mum's like, oh, here comes my son. I'm thinking he's coming around to give me words of encouragement. And I just look at her and say, now, listen, don't you fuck this up on me. And then I walked off. And she goes, I was more nervous than ever before. I thought he was coming over to tell me not to worry, but I said, don't you fuck this up. And when we got out there and started doing the routine, there was a part in the routine that I could tell she forgot. And I'm like, oh, shit. When some people do, mine just goes blank. So
of course.
She's just standing there looking at me. So I just reached out and took her hands and went into a pose, and everyone's like, oh, that part in the routine where you took your mother's hands was beautiful. Yeah. My mum's like, that wasn't in it. I just forgot. So we just
Right.
Everyone thought it was a lovely part of the routine. But I could just tell she was standing with this blank face like, oh, fuck, she's forgot it. So then I just took him and we went into the pose, and then it clicked back on again. But, everyone thought that bit was beautiful. And when we finished our routine, the judges and all were crying. You can probably find the routine on YouTube, Leanie's mum.
Oh, yeah, you can. Did you guys actually train?
She only trained for 8 months for that show, and she got in shape.
Did you guys train together?
A little bit, but not much. Mainly, like I said, mainly at the gym at the same time, but she was doing her thing, I was doing mine.
What was she doing? Do you know what she was doing? Like, was she doing 3 hours of cardio like you?
No, she'd do a bit of cardio. She'd go walking for an hour or two around Newcastle in the streets and that, but training-wise, she did pretty much the same as me, just the basics, barbells, dumbbells, squats, There was none of that booty shit exercises back then or that garbage. You just fucking trained hard. But, she trained very hard, sometimes twice a day in cardio,
Yeah. That's pretty
then we did and then when I did the Universe in 89, that's when I first met Milos at the AAU Mr. Universe run by Carlos Rodriguez in Tucson, Arizona. I got runner-up in my class at the Universe at 17. My mum and I did a posing exhibition there.
Nice. Do you think your mom, how, looking back on it, now that you've been involved with bodybuilding a long time, what was your mom's response to the training like? Was she clearly genetically gifted?
Yeah. That's right. I said after 8 months she was in shape. After 8 months, the thing for my mother is she was like me. She's actually got a high level of male testosterone, and she had to take estrogen and hormones to keep her male level down. So when she was pretty much getting ready for the show, she just stopped taking the female hormones. And
no shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what your testosterone levels are naturally?
I was always high because when I did the World Championships, I had a letter from the doctor. I had to get a blood test done saying that mine were naturally higher than normal because those shows were drug tested. So I'm not sure what level they judge at and say, hey, you've been taking something. But I did have a letter saying that mine were all naturally higher than normal. So it's like even when I had my neck thing, I think here in Australia, once you get above 26, I know in America, I think it's like 200's normal or something, but I'm not sure. But here it's like when I was taking Oxycontin, when I had my neck operation, I felt like shit and stuff. My test was down to 2. So I went to the doctors. They sent me to an endocrinologist. They did testing. Go, your test is down at 2. And I'm like, oh, cool. I can get some testosterone from the doctor. Cool, But they're like, no, come back in 4 or 5 weeks and we'll do another test. And if it's still, they will do it then. And so by that time, I put myself in detox for 2 weeks, got off all the Oxycontin, all that sort of shit, got back to normal, went back, had another test done. Oh, you're 28. I'm like, oh, fucking hell. I like just shot back up straight away.
I remember that. We were doing international iron then.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember when you were even trying to like find out ways to make it lower so that when you went in, it would be lower and you still were fucking high.
Yeah. So it didn't work. So no.
Here it's like 400 to 900 or give or take, which is normal. I don't know what 28 would be.
I think 20. I'd have to Google it, but I think but I was down at 2. I think anything under the 20. I'm not sure here in Australia, but when they saw it was 28, and that was just like a couple of weeks after stopping the Oxycontin, it was coming back up. But I think maybe the 20s, 30s, 40s is. I'm not sure if it's normal or high, but I'd have to look it up. But I didn't get any testosterone anyways.
Yeah.
Cunts.
That's cool though. That's a good thing to have, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Better than not have to take the fucking shots, right?
I forget the name of it too. I'll have to find out from my mum because my mum has it, my sister has it, my grandfather had it, and nearly all my cousins have it. It's this bone disease where the hormone, it does something where they get bones growing on top of bones. And then they can get bone spurs, or they just get, like, say this is your knee, you might get a lump here. My sister had to get one cut and shaved off. My mum's had some cut off her legs, her hips, her neck, because she had one growing on her neck that was pushing on her nerves. She had to get that. I never got any of that, so luckily I never got any of that bone. I think what it's called, though, but it's almost not sure if it's from the growth hormone or something, but I never got that. So.
Interesting.
Yes. And my daughter never got it, so whether it skips a generation or...
Yeah,
but my mum had it, my sister had it, grandfather had it, and a lot of my cousins had it, and then a lot of my cousins' kids have it, but I never got it, and my daughter doesn't have it.
Interesting. Is your daughter going to be like a professional... What division is she in?
She did sports model and something else. She got a pro card in one of them, but I think she's going to switch. Well, she was going to compete this year. I think she was going to do the Paul Dillette Federation here in Australia, but with all the COVID and stuff, there's no shows, so she's going to wait till next year. But I think she's going to do the WBFF.
Nice. What is she, 16, 17?
She's 27, Jeff.
No, your younger daughter.
That's my daughter. I only got one who's 27.
Really?
Yeah.
Why did I think she was so much younger?
When I was married to my ex, Jade, she had a younger daughter.
The one on Instagram that competes?
Yeah, she's 27.
She's small with like great structure and delts and shit?
Yeah. 27.
Damn, I thought she was younger for some reason. I don't know why.
You fucking pedophile.
Yeah. No, I'm not interested anymore.
That blew it.
27.
Too old.
Let's talk about something else.
That's retirement. Put her in a box.
Gross. Saggy.
Yeah, hair down there, terrible. Periods. Yeah. Jesus.
I'm out. Yeah.
Kitty. What's he looking for? Something in the bag? That's a look for food somewhere. Let me
the
just
food
look in
is in the pantry.
Hi, kitty. Like you can hear me. Hi, kitty.
Yeah. Well, all right, Lee. That's all I got. Those are all the questions. We got great questions this time, which is always nice. And we only put we put it up a day and a half in advance, and maybe that's the trick. I don't know. Sometimes you get tons of great questions, and other times it's like...
Well, sometimes people, I think, just don't watch pages. Like, they'll follow, because I'll sometimes go on live and people will ask me stuff all the time. Lee, what about that hand chalk? I'm like, where do you get it from? I said, there's probably 10 posts on my fucking page of that hand chalk. Just go on and look at it. Oh, I didn't see it on there. Oh,
yeah.
No. Well, then you do put it on there, and it'll say where to get it from. It ships worldwide. Where do I get it from? Do you ship to Canada? Well, that's part of the world, isn't it? Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's crazy. People who are
woke up. Look, someone just woke up.
People who are like, is it on YouTube? Where do I listen? I'm like, you could literally,
I know.
Like,
I said that.
Type it in anywhere and find it.
I saw someone ask that question. Is it like such and such? Oh,
Yeah.
It was almost like, is this just new? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Jesus. I put up all the time when it's aired. It's like,
Right.
oh, hold on. That might take some research. It's almost like because I'll keep, in the bio on Instagram, you can only put like one thing in or whatever. But every time I put something up and I put where to watch it, can't you just put the link in the bio? I'm like, no, cunt. Why can't you just type it into your... It's like, how hard is it? I'm not... it'd be much easier if you just put it in the bio and people can click on it. It'd be much easier if you just fucking type it and go find it, you dumb cunt.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And
that's
good show.
Thank you.
Share, subscribe.
Who's that ugly man we can see but nobody else can see?
I know.
It's a bit off-putting, isn't it?
It is.
Speaking of pedophiles, and look who shows up.
I can't focus.
I know. If that doesn't look like fucking John Wayne Gacy, I don't know what does. The fucking looks like a cross between Gacy and the Unabomber. Oh, fucking Dahmer. I think it's Dahmer.
I got my Dahmer glasses on today. That's what it is.
That's what it is. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
These are the new thing. These are the new thing, Lee. Everybody's wearing these now. Yeah. It's cool. I still shouldn't laugh, but I still laugh when I watched that documentary on Dahmer when that one guy escaped and the cops brought him back. I'm like, yeah, fucked upset. Poor cunt escaped from Dahmer, goes running down the road. Dahmer comes after him saying they're lovers, having a lovers quarrel. The cops take him back to the house and then later on he kills him and hits him. That happened?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Damn.
Yeah, imagine like, I'm free, I escaped, and the cops take you back. Don't take me back. And when the cops said, because he was drugged up a bit, he said he was drunk and stuff. When the cops took him back, he had all these naked pictures of him on the table. So he said it was like his lover. They just had a spat and blah, blah, blah. So the cops said, okay, just keep it down. And they left him there and the poor cunt got killed. Jesus. Can you imagine being that drugged up? Oh, take me. I don't want to be here. You're
That's
right.
fucked.
Just work it out. Work it out, guys. Work it out.
My bladder's gonna explode. I'll be right back. I guess we could just end it there.
Yeah, wrap it up.
All right.
Thanks,
we could
Jeff.
end
Thanks,
it. We could end it
with your bladder exploding. Thank you.
as we're yeah.
Okay.
Like as we're I don't know. I think you find a good spot to end it.
Well, I'll figure it out.
There was a spot right there where like after I said like, share, subscribe, and then Lee went into something. Just like you know how like yeah, basically, because you have like in the YouTube video, like the other videos pop up at the end.
Oh yeah.
And it kind of like fades out.
Faded out. We're like on the news.
There was no like, and we're out. But I think it'll still be
like on the news where they go like.
Hold on, let's end it here. Now it's time to say goodbye to all our family. MICKEY MIUSE.